stopping by. If you're new to the channel, my name is Riley and I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. If you're an ex-JW, I'm sure you know by now about the AGM, the Annual General Meeting of Jehovah's Witnesses, which took place yesterday. Some huge and, dare I say, historical announcements were made relating to both the ministry and JW Doctrine. So I'm just doing a quick video to tell you what my thoughts are on what was announced. This is going to be super rough, no fancy editing, and it's completely unscripted, so please forgive me for that. Okay, firstly, there was some new light announced. If you're unfamiliar with the term, new light is basically the governing body's way of saying we've got something wrong and we're now changing our mind relating to a particular piece of doctrine. Now, this particular piece of new light relates to the separating of the sheep and the goats, when that will take place, and also when will be the final chance for worldly people to get saved from Armageddon. Now, I'm not really going to cover that in this particular video because, quite frankly, it deserves a video all on its own. What I really want to discuss with you today is the announcement about the ministry. It was announced that with effect from the 1st of November, publishers will no longer be required to keep a record of the time they spend in the ministry. Now, this announcement is absolutely huge. For about a century, rank and file members of the religion have been recording how much time they spend actively preaching. It's a practice that is so integral to the life of a Jehovah's Witness. It's actually become a way of gauging whether or not someone is a good Jehovah's Witness or a bad one. So a reversal on this particular policy is nothing short of momentous. But I think what is particularly interesting is the reason why. Why has the governing body made this announcement? Well, to fill you in on that is our correspondent live in the field, Sammy H.
Can you imagine Jehovah judging an Israelite unfaithful because his tenth was less than another person's tenth? Of course not. Everyone's circumstances and abilities are different. Brother Loesch explained that although tithing was a requirement in ancient Israel, Jehovah did not require others to monitor or keep track of each person's tithe. Tithing was entirely between the individual Israelite and Jehovah. The governing body believes this same principle can be applied when it comes to reporting our time spent in the ministry. Our ministry involves much more than counting time. For this reason, we are pleased to announce that beginning November the 1st, 2023, congregation publishers will no longer be asked to report the amount of time they spend in the ministry, nor will publishers be asked to report their placements, the videos they show, or their return visits. Instead, the field service report will simply have a box that will allow each publisher to indicate that he or she shared in any form of the ministry during the month. There will be one more box where publishers report the number of different Bible studies they conduct. This simplified report serves a valuable purpose. It will allow us to know the number of active publishers in each land. It will also help us to know whether certain territories are producing Bible studies and where there is a greater need for pioneers, special pioneers, missionaries, and Kingdom Hall.
So to cut a long story short, the reason is that recording time spent in the ministry has no biblical basis. Despite the fact that ex-JWs, apostates, YouTube activists, and even some current and active Jehovah's Witnesses have been saying this for decades, the governing body have only just realized that it's unbiblical. I'm sorry, but I'm going to call BS on that. As far as I'm concerned, the real reason for this change is because ministry is basically dead. The preaching work has been basically hamstrung since COVID, and it shows no signs of recovery. I've lived at my current address for 2 years, and not once have I had a Jehovah's Witness knock on my door. I can't even tell you the last time that I saw witnesses going door to door down a street. The governing body know this, but they want to hide it from their members. Matthew 24:14 says that the good news has to be preached worldwide before the end comes. But if that doesn't happen, then it means that that prophecy isn't going to be fulfilled. So changing the way they record their activity is a very good way of hiding this. This is nothing but cooking the books and creative accounting. Now I want to discuss what I think the effects of this reversal will be. In the short term, I think we're going to see an increase, maybe even a rapid increase, in the number of active publishers. Ministry has just gotten a whole lot easier. And it stands to reason that if you make something easier, more people are going to do it. But an increase in the number of publishers doesn't necessarily mean an increase in the preaching work, although that is almost certainly how the governing body are going to try and frame it. In the long term, and this is just my opinion, I think we're going to see a slow phasing out of congregation ministry arrangements. They might be officially ended by decree from the governing body, or they may just slowly fizzle out due to lack of support. And the reason I say this is because the vast majority of Jehovah's Witnesses do not like the ministry. So many witnesses already lie about the amount of time they spend doing it. It's long been said how the life of a Jehovah's Witness is so incredibly busy. Witnesses are among the most time-deprived people in the world, I'm sure of it. And this is in large part due to the ministry. So what I think is going to happen is this. At the end of each month, the vast majority of witnesses are going to get their field service report. They're going to think back, have I spoken to anyone about the truth this month? Oh yeah, there was that time when I had a magazine and somebody said, oh, what's that? And I said, oh, it's a watchtower. Would you like one? That counts as ministry. Tick. Have I done any ministry this month? Oh yeah, there was that time at work when someone asked me what I did on the weekend and I said I went to the meeting. That counts as ministry. Tick. Have I done any ministry this month? Oh yeah, there's that time I was at the doctor's surgery and I was filling in a form and it said religion and I wrote Jehovah's Witness. That counts as ministry. Tick. The governing body has essentially given their permission to only do ministry once a month. And there are no requirements as to the quality or format of said ministry. I think another reason why the governing body have made this decision is because it is hemorrhaging members. People are leaving the religion in droves, either due to waking up or just due to apathy. COVID played a big part in this because witnesses finally got off that hamster wheel, tasted a bit of freedom and decided that they liked it. And the organisation has been struggling to get people back into the kingdom halls and back on the ministry ever since. People are the lifeblood of this organisation and the governing body knows this. So they're trying to make it as easy as possible to stay in the religion in order to retain members. I think the rank and file members of the organisation will see this as a loving provision from Jehovah. But I see this as an act of desperation on the part of the governing body. The religion isn't growing, in many places it's actually shrinking. So they're cutting their losses in order to keep the religion alive. Kind of like a forest animal who's got its leg caught in a trap. Rather than staying trapped and bleeding out, it will literally chew through its own leg in order to escape the trap and have a chance of survival. But in any case, these are just my thoughts. I could be wrong about everything I've said. It could be for a whole host of many other reasons. However, I do think I'm right because I remember reading all of this in the Bible. That's it for today. Those are my thoughts. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. How do you feel about this policy change and what do you think the reason is? Also, please check the description of this video. I've put some links in there to videos by some other YouTube creators so that you can see some actual footage of the AGM. Please like the video if you haven't already done so, and also please subscribe to the channel with notifications so that you're alerted each time I post new content. Please proceed to the Jexit in an orderly fashion, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much for watching to the very end of the video. If you haven't already done so, please like, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. If you like my work and want to help me continue doing it, please support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Jexit_2020. And with that, I'd like to sincerely thank these very special patrons who make these videos possible.
Machinations chapter 3 verse 16. Woe to you governing body members and helpers, hypocrites! Did you not read? A group of cult leaders with a failing religion is like a trapped wild beast of the field. Better it is to flee the trap lame than to remain trapped and the whole body perish. Huh.